This is Bytnar Talks, the engineer takes on construction. Episode 9. Hi, I'm Bytnar. Each day I help my clients plan and design building projects through Bytnar Limited, a consulting chartered structural engineer's practice. My biggest passion and the cornerstone on which I've built my business is finding clever solutions for construction projects. I am a chartered structural engineer and a budding software developer, so you can rest assured that I will strive to talk about the best practices and the use of new technologies in the industry. And if you're embarking on a construction project or are involved in planning, designing and building the world around us, you'll find this podcast useful. This episode is about stage 7 of the plan of work called Use. Hi there, listener. How are you? It's Monday, the 11th of March 2024, and I am issuing this episode talking about the last stage of the plan of work called Use. A slightly effervescent of all stages of work, quoting famous Matthew McConaughey from The Wolf of Wall Street, it's fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it doesn't exist. It never landed, it is no matter, it's not on the elemental chart, it's not real. Why, you ask? You'll find out in the main part of this podcast, but before we go there, let us recap the last episode. The previous episode concentrated on this stage 6 called handover, where we ensure a safe building beyond blueprints, focusing on robust documentation for end users and daily operations. Equipping occupants with knowledge for secure usage is paramount at this stage. I mentioned that safety isn't just a checkbox, it's a continuous thread we follow, from design through construction to use and decommissioning. I've told you that different stakeholders require varying levels of information for building use. Ranging from individual occupants to management personnel, the information is different. Using the iceberg analogy, we give people a general overview with more information as need be. Also, more responsibility correlates with the need for more information, right? A tiered approach to information dissemination is recommended here to avoid overwhelming individuals with excessive details. The focus of handover and building use documentation hangs on the importance of clear communication and information flow. We generally provide a high-level overview with links to more detailed information in specific manuals. The fact that we can inundate people with tons of information does not mean this is the point of this stage. To the contrary, we should also form part of the training provided to key personnel for the safe day-to-day operation of the building, explaining the documents and guiding the future use. The end of the stage ensures all snaggings are rectified and the final account is agreed upon for payment. It marks the termination stop of the construction train, hopefully culminating with satisfaction for both the project team and the client. As the latent defect liability period concludes, spanning all seasons, we evaluate the building use and update our models and practice. We need to think long term and in the spirit of continuous improvement. Use all real world information to adjust our process. During the handover phase, it's crucial to assess the project team's performance and gather feedback from clients and stakeholders. This evaluation informs our approach, improves future projects, and updates office practices. The reflective process underscores the the cyclical nature of consulting and building up of our expertise. This stage is often the only stage where we can have a hands-on involvement with the use of the building, at least for the initial defect liability period, and often this is all there ever is in this regard. However, there is a whole stage, stage 7, use, supposedly dedicated to such evaluation. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Stage 7. Use. The pinnacle of the process and the stage that informs us on the use of the building so we can learn lessons to improve future buildings. The idea of evaluating buildings in use has been with us for the last half a century, albeit hidden as part of other stages until becoming a stand-alone one. Did making it a stand-alone stage change anything? No, not really. Not yet anyhow. Stage 7 of the RIBA plan of work marks the final phase of a building's journey, a stage dedicated to the reason of its conception, period of sustained and dynamic changes of its operational life. This stage springs from the narration of responsible practice, responsible engineering, responsible architecture, responsible use of materials, and responsible and sustainable specifications of solutions, which extends far beyond the consideration of construction phase, but which extends to the building management, maintenance, and performance. Here we are concerned with the entire architectural life cycle. Stage 7 underscores the commitment to creating not just structures, but enduring functional spaces that change and evolve with the changing needs of their users and the passage of time. The magical world of plan of use strategy and post-occupancy evaluation. I will now highlight some prime aspects for consideration, say a bit about the ideas behind it, and what are we looking to gain from this stage, and why so far it is a fallacy that we generally only talk about and dream to be able to provide for our clients. So without further mambo jumbo, let's get to the main part of this podcast, shall we? At the heart of the use stage lies the principle that a building's journey does not conclude at handover. Instead, it transitions into a new chapter where its performance, efficiency, and user experience become paramount. This stage, with outcomes assumed and targeted in earlier stages, embodied an approach that recognizes the importance of long-term building sustainability and incremental improvements informed by data of live buildings. There are certain aspects of the analysis and scrutiny that readily come to one mind. To my mind, of course, for the use in this broadcast, I think of at least 7. So number 1, we need to assure strategic building management and responsive operation of that building. Ain't that right? In-use stage is synonymous with the active management of the building, encompassing a spectrum of responsibilities for all people involved. This includes daily operation, security, energy management, and the implementation of any planned maintenance or upgrades. Architects and facility managers should collaborate to ensure that the building operates as intended and adapts to the evolving needs of its occupants. Systems may require fine-tuning and upgraded to maintain best operation. Such management, analysis capabilities, and interaction in the realm of the building management becomes ever so more streamlined and possible thanks to digital technologies. Building information modeling, BIM, and smart building systems offer real-time insights into buildings' performance, enabling proactive decision-making. From monitoring energy consumption to optimizing space utilization, these technologies empower us to enhance operational efficiency and address challenges swiftly. The next magical word is post-occupancy evaluation, POE. Post-occupancy evaluation, POE, is what it says on the tin, really. It is a systematic assessment that involves gathering feedback from building occupants, analyzing performance data, and conducting site visits to understand how the structure aligns with its intended use. POEs should inform on user satisfaction and behavior, comfort, and the building's efficiency in meeting its functional requirements. We can achieve this by gathering indirect data, digital data, or by employing tools such as surveys, interviews, and performance matrices. With such gained information, the valuable insights into how well the building meets its initial design objectives, we can make judgments on the initial assumptions. These evaluations serve as a feedback loop. It will inform future design interactions, future design iterations, and influence best practices within the architectural community. All processes in the world are interactive in nature, with no exception of construction projects. Fostering a culture of continuous improvement and adaptability is therefore paramount to make the world we live in a better place. Off to the point 3. Thinking of making the world a better place in the aspect of sustainability and environmental impact is one of the prime objectives here. Stage 7 is a pivotal juncture for evaluating a building's environmental impact and sustainability practices. Architects and building managers should assess energy usage, water efficiency, waste management, and the overall ecological footprint of the structure. This phase aligns with global efforts to create environmentally conscious buildings that contribute positively to the surrounding ecosystems. In recent years, there has been a growing emphasis on retrofitting existing buildings to meet contemporary sustainability-driven standards. After all, it is the most carbon-effective way not to build at all. We need to think carefully and weigh the arguments pro and contrary to new builds. We, as consultants, play a crucial role in identifying opportunities for improvement, whether through the integration of renewable energy sources, enhanced insulation, or the implementation of green technologies. By addressing sustainability concerns during the use stage, we contribute to the broader agenda of creating a built environment that respects the nature. Within reason, we need to create buildings integrated with nature, not against it. My point 4 is the ability and future proofing. That's what's next on my agenda. Buildings rarely change the place that they are built at, but people do change in it and around these spaces. Social and commercial needs change and technological advancements evolve, therefore buildings should be adaptable. We should assess the flexibility of a building and the ways it can change in use or fit emerging trends. Future-proofing a building involves anticipating and preparing for shifts in functionality, ensuring that the structure remains relevant and valuable over time. As engineers and architects, we should collaborate with clients and stakeholders to explore opportunities for adaptive reuse. You would be surprised how flexible a design can be. By being proactive, we do not only enhance the longevity of the building, but also align it with sustainable practices by minimizing the need for new construction. By doing the same with the existing buildings, we can go even further. Off to point 5. So who cares about the user engagement and well-being, right? Well, we do. User experience is critical. After all, we make these buildings to make money out of them, right? And if our clients do not enjoy them, well, we will not be delivering many of such buildings in future, will we? We need to delve into the daily lives of building occupants, seeking to understand how the space influences their well-being and productivity. User engagement initiatives such as workshops and forums provide a platform for open communication between designers and the end users. In this in mind, we can then revisit the intent through the lens of user experience, making allowances to address any issues or improvements necessary for creating a more comfortable and functional environment. This user-centric approach emphasizes the human aspects of building environment. We need to acknowledge that the building's success is ultimately measured by its impact on the lives of those who inhabit it. Point 6. Legal and regulatory compliance can be a fluid thing throughout the life cycle of the building. Just think about the Building Safety Act, introduced last year. In addition to user satisfaction and environmental consideration, we can help ensure ongoing compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Building codes, safety standards evolve over time, necessitating periodic reviews to confirm that the structure aligns with the latest regulations, especially when changes to the use of the building are taking place. Legal compliance also extends to issues such as accessibility and inclusivity. We must ensure that the buildings remain accessible to individuals with diverse abilities and that any changes or renovations comply with accessibility guidelines. And the last one on the list, number 7, although most likely a few more points could be added to the whole list, is the life cycle costing and financial considerations. After all of that, all of the buildings, all of the projects, all of the investments, they do happen for a reason. Life cycle costing is an integral component of building use. We can help with assessing the ongoing operational costs, maintenance and expenses, and potential future investments required to sustain the building. This comprehensive financial evaluation informs decision-making related to the budgeting, asset management, and resource allocation, can often yield huge savings. By considering the long-term financial implications of a building, we contribute to the economic sustainability of the project. Strategic planning during this stage enables clients to make informed decisions about budgetary allocations for maintenance, upgrades, and any necessary modifications. This is the point where data gathering and analysis for a better understanding of the building operation can result in a fine-tuning of the building operation, therefore significantly lengthening the life cycle of the building and its systems. And in the meantime, saving hell lot of money, use carbon and our environment. You see, the bottom line here is if we do not participate in the life of the project in use, all the opportunities for the betterment of the building's operation and possible lessons learned will be lost. Continuous learning and knowledge transfer is paramount for any practice. We will always attempt to gather some information about our projects, but this needs to be a standard if we are to make meaningful progress as an industry. The use stage encourages a culture of continuous learning with the architectural community, but we should reflect on the performance of completed projects. We should identify successful implementation and challenges. Lessons learned should be disseminated within the entire profession, not only contained within particular offices, enriching the collective knowledge base and informing future design approaches. Knowledge transfer is also crucial for passing on insights and best practices to the next generation of professionals. It would be ideal to contribute to the ongoing evaluation of design practices. After all, we need to ensure that the next generation builds upon our experiences and knowledge rather than trying to reinvent the wheel as we've been doing for the last however long. Well, unfortunately, the world is not all roses, cupcakes and teddy bears, and all that talking about lessons learned, engagement with stakeholders, yada 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 yada, is a more of a list of wishes than actual practice. I like to speak from the experience and perspective of others. As ever, last week I travelled to London Royal Docks to take part in Future Build Expo in Excel, London. On Wednesday, I attended a conference talking about delivering net zero buildings in reality. Being an inquisitive bee, I've asked all the panelists if they take part in Stage 7. Well, more specifically, if any of their employees have any projects on their books that they will now evaluate for the next 5, 10 or 15 years. And unfortunately, the answers were not positive. Albeit everyone sees the importance of this stage, but none delivered on the possibilities. The panelists of such likes of Related Argent, Arab, Bennett's Associates, Wilman Dixon Holdings, Bureau Happold, or University College London creme de la creme of British design and construction. We all agree that the difficulty in achieving net zero and better, deeper involvement is not technological or technical in nature, but behavioral and commercial. I go even a step further in this simplification. I would say it is purely commercial. Even with our beliefs and behaviors as consultant pushing hard and strong for the net zero, heck, simply for sustainable future, we are like wild salmon going against the wild waters of the river of commercial world, which tries to push us back into the ocean. We persevere, spawn our ideas, and go back down with the streams of money. The only way we can make better choices is to require money to go where it should be going. The only way money ever listens is when it can do more money or is forced by legal system. By the very intangible nature of money and its constant devaluation, it is extremely difficult to make a good claim for Stage 7 involvement. Especially that commercial world lives in short time frames, preferring to make easy gains and quick returns, and we are talking about stages years in making, perhaps generational involvement. There are financial gains to be made, but these are difficult and not on the scale commercial world would care. So without the legislation, the only true evaluation, sustainability and ecology, is in the realm of PR, marketing and points for ESG considerations. We are yet to see some real action. The use stage of building's life cycle is a critical phase that extends beyond handover, focusing on sustained performance, efficiency and user experience. 7 key aspects for analysis and scrutiny emerge: strategic building management, post-occupancy evaluation, sustainability, adaptability, user engagement, legal compliance, and life cycle costing. Digital technologies like building information modeling, BIM, and smart building systems play a crucial role in streamlined management and informed decision making. Sustainability practices, including retrofitting existing structures, contribute to environmental consciousness. Future-proofing ensures building remains relevant amid evolving needs. User experience and well-being are paramount, requiring continuous engagement and adjustment based on feedback. Legal and regulatory compliance, especially considering the fluid nature of regulations and life cycle costing for financial consideration, are crucial. However, despite recognizing the importance of the use stage, the commercial world often falls short in its implementation. The challenge lies not in technological barriers but in behavioral and commercial aspects. The reluctance is rooted in short-term financial goals, necessitating legislative support to drive real change. In the absence of regulations, sustainability efforts remain primarily in the realm of public relations and marketing, awaiting genuine and widespread commitment to meaningful actions. So this is it. Let's now move to a few words from me and call it a day. Thank you for listening. I hope you now have a full high-level understanding of all the stages of the plan of work. On any given project, whether it is the removal of a single wall or an intercontinental tunnel, we deal with the briefing, which is finding out if we can or should do the work and specifying what, how and who. We then move to the designing the solution whilst closing in on the target, constantly re-evaluating our what, how and whos. We then execute the projects, assuring it can go through all seasons without interruption. Lastly, we should look into how the project behaves and is used through its life cycle to inform our future projects. Sadly, it never happens in a holistic and proactive manner, if at all. In good offices, we, however, research use of buildings and attempt to gather as much information as possible, but it's difficult and current state of the affairs inhibits proper evaluation. Thank you again for listening. Please voice up your opinions. I'm waiting for you on LinkedIn and I want to hear from you. Toodaloo!